Kia ora and welcome to the Creative Matters podcast, where we have inspiring conversations with New Zealand artists. I'm your host, Mandy Yarkich. These conversations are intimate, uplifting and insightful. The guests on this show have absolutely enriched my life, and I'm sure their stories will have the same effect on you. Thank you so much for joining me to listen to these amazing people speak about what drives them, the way they work, and their personal takes on life. Morena and welcome back to Creative Matters. Sarah Oostendorp is a contemporary emerging artist from Southland Aotearoa and currently living in Tāmaki Makaurau, Auckland. Her art practice focuses on the state of mind whilst in the midst of creating labour-intensive drawings of repeated circular movements using paint.
The paint may be less on one circle than the other, so therefore it starts creating these shades and these movements and these textures on the canvas. And when a viewer looks at it, they start picking up images that they can only see within the painting, or they'll pick up maps or birds or faces, all kinds of things you can see in my circles. And none of that is planned. It all happens organically. The paint does its own thing.
Sarah talks from the heart about how her unusual upbringing in a small rural town in Southland and her parents, who are outsider artists, have influenced the way she works and the work she creates. She speaks of an out-of-this-world experience she had in her early 20s that has shaped her as a person and an artist, her fascination for drawing circles, and how her practice is essential in helping her deal with change, her emotions, and her general well-being. Sarah's story is incredible. I have so much respect for her art practice and for her incredible positive mindset. Morena, Sarah.
Good morning.
Lovely to see you via Zoom.
Yeah, it's lovely seeing you too.
You're in the laundry, which is a really great insulated space.
Mm-hmm. Surrounded by a big cardboard box.
Yeah, it's so good. And you've got your cat keeping an eye on you, just in case you're doing something dodgy in the laundry.
Yeah.
So a very big warm welcome to Creative Matters, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I hope Sage doesn't make too much noise, my cat. I might have to send him out of the laundry.
That's all right.
He's don't jumping on things.
We don't mind animal noises on the Creative Matters podcast. Cool. Animals are welcome. So we met at Arcadia at your Orbit show
we
in
did.
October. Yes, and we got chatting, and I completely fell in love with your work. And very lucky for us, you agreed to be on the podcast. So I'm very intrigued to know how you got to be making this kind of work with your sort of fascination for circles and detail. So can you tell us, something about your childhood and how you got to this point?
Yeah. So I think I didn't have the very typical kind of childhood. I have quite an unusual one, which definitely led me to doing massive accumulations of circles. Yeah. I'm originally from Southland in a tiny, tiny town called Aotearoa. It's like a rural as town, probably less than 700 people live there. I lived my entire life of up to 18 years in this tiny wee town with my parents. And they're both outsider artists. So they're quite unusual artists.
Can you explain what you mean by outsider artists?
Oh, yeah. So they are artists who aren't influenced by the outside world. So they don't have a lot to do with the art world, I guess. They just create purely by their own thoughts or feelings. and it makes quite a pure type of art. I think that's what they like. They don't like being influenced. They don't really like being outside their bubble. They are very enclosed. They don't like walking outside their house kind of thing. And they kind of, they've created a home which is completely surrounded by stuff. So they're slightly on they're hoarders for sure. I'm not even going to say borderline, like they're 100% hoarders. They love collecting things and they like creating this safe bubble for themselves. They're a good artist. I have so much respect for them as artists. And yeah, they're very unusual artists. My stepdad, he likes to put on this persona or this character called what does he call it? The Skull Man or the Pink Man? I can't remember, but he likes to dress up and film himself dancing or doing unusual things. And he makes a lot of music. So I grew up with drum kits, lots of organs. I don't know why my parents, but they've collected too many organs for our tiny little house. Lots of guitars. I got taught how to play the drums. He does a lot of recording his own music. It's not music that you can just listen to and sing along to. It's more like music where it's like spoken poetry over strange sounds, I guess, being made by instruments, almost like Patti Smith, but like 10 times more intense. And then my mum, she's just an oil painter and she just likes being a mum. So she has 7 children. So I'm one of 7. I'm the second oldest. Yeah, she just really enjoys being a mum, but she's extremely creative. Every single space in our house, from ceiling to floor, on the walls are just covered with things. Art, pepper and salt shakers, just a massive accumulation of stuff. Tea cups and saucers. They really like collecting things. Crown Lynn, she's very much into that. Yeah, so growing up with 2 parents who are like that, very unusual, and everyone kind of knowing that they're different and unusual. Our house was painted pink, like it's just a bright pink house, so we're known as the Pink House. And it's a 1800 old little cottage. It's just a cube. It's so tiny for seven kids to be growing up in. So they were unusual. I felt very out of place a lot of the time during my childhood. Like I didn't fit in with their extreme unusualness. I was the normal one, which isn't typically the way of the artist. The artist is usually the black sheep of the family, but no, I was the one that was a black sheep because I was normal. Because I liked to have friends. I liked high school. I enjoyed being social at the time. I liked staying over for sleepovers with my mates. I did all these things that my parents thought was weird. I liked having a job.
Wow, that's so interesting, Sarah.
Yeah, they thought I was unusual.
Quite an unusual childhood.
It was unusual.
And I'm sure that has informed your practice, which we'll get onto at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely was unusual. There was a lot of pain through my childhood. I think it was just because I felt out of place all the time. And not only with the way that I am as a person to feel out of place, but also as the fact that Quentin wasn't my father. So that kind of parental love that I was craving, I didn't get. And I'm a very, very sensitive person. So I cry very easily, and I take things to heart way too easy. And so because I'm so sensitive, and I think the rest of my family wasn't so sensitive, they didn't know how to cater to that, which isn't their fault, I guess. I really did. I do love my stepdad. I think he's an incredible person. I just wish that he would have loved me like a daughter, which I don't think he was capable of doing, and I don't think he ever will be. But I just got to accept that and let it go, which I will. Or I have. I don't know yet. I don't know how one lets go of something like that, or how everyone goes, oh, you just need to forgive your childhood or forgive your parents for things. And it's like, yeah, I can say it, but I don't know how to actually do that.
That may come with more time.
Yeah, I can imagine. I was hoping by 26 it would have come by now. And yeah, there was just a lot of things that happened in my life that were very massive events to me.
So Sarah, were you within that sort of interesting family dynamic? Were you creating as a way to sort of escape some of those things, or, were you making as a way to just express yourself, or how did your creativity start within that context?
I think art. I never really saw myself as being an artist. I always loved art. I loved drawing. I loved painting. I loved pastels. I liked copying my stepdad so much. He would be drawing with. He loved pastels. There was a moment there where he was just on pastels, and he would just draw and draw and draw hundreds and hundreds of drawings, and he would fill up coal sacks with his drawings, and you'd never see them again. Like, you'd just throw them away. And he would always have his arms covered in the pastels and the colors. And so I used to sit there and just color in my elbows and my arms so that I could look a little bit like him. But as I grew up, I didn't really see myself as becoming an artist. I thought that I was going to become like an industrial designer or an architect or something, because I was really into graphics design and I was very good at it at school as well. But then I think I was 15 or 16 when I went to art class at my high school, and I did my first art board, and I realized how much I loved painting. Like, I really did love doing it. And I didn't expect myself to get a good grade in it or anything, because I was very new doing art in the education system rather than just doing it for the pleasure of at home. And I got really good grades. I got the highest grade you could get. So I did it again the next year and the next year. And I even got a scholarship in NCA for art. So I realized that I really like this. I'm really good at it. I liked it so much that I wouldn't go out and spend lunchtime with my friends. I'd just be in the art room. If I had a free period, I'd be in the art room. I think I lived in that art room. I just loved it so much. I'd come in during the 2-week holidays. And my school was quite far away from my home because we were rural. So we had to travel at least an hour just to get to my school and an hour to get back home. So for me to make that commitment to come into school just to paint, I really enjoyed it. And then I did find it as a way to escape. I found it a way to be alone, which I enjoyed, where I could be alone but not be considered being lazy, like doing nothing, which was something my parents were very hard on us kids about, was that we couldn't be lazy. We had to be busy. We grew up extremely poor. So I had to succeed in life. I only have myself. There is no safety net backing me. I'm completely alone doing this. So they really trained us and raised us not to be lazy children. So doing art was the one thing I really enjoyed doing, where my parents couldn't call you lazy or when you're busy doing something.
That's incredible. Yeah. And that just must have been such a sort of saving moment for you to kind of discover that.
Mm-hmm. Because they would always try and do, like, you'd always have to be busy. It was either gardening. We were always gardening. We had a huge bit of land. And so my mum, she loves her gardens. She'd have them almost like a forest out there that would always be gardening. But I didn't enjoy that as much as I liked painting. So when I discovered that, it was like food to me as well. It was just, it was so much fun.
I bet. And what kind of thing were you making at that point, Sarah?
I was just painting figurative paintings. I was really into Salvador Dali. I remember being in an art class, my art teacher showing me a Salvador Dali painting for the first time, and I was like, oh, that was my pivotal moment. That was the moment I realized I am going to be an artist. There is no way I'm doing design. I will be an artist. The way that those paintings made me feel I was like, yes, that is me. And not that my art's a surrealist or anything, they're not really anything like Salvador Dali, but seeing his works just really made me realize the power of art, I think. It, made me feel something. And I remember going home and talking about him. I was obsessed with him. I'm still obsessed with him today. And yeah, so that was a really cool moment for me.
What were you thinking at that point about what you were going to do after high school? I mean, it must have been quite daunting living where you lived.
Oh,
and
it was
not
daunting.
necessarily having the financial resources either.
Yeah, no, definitely no financial resource. Because my stepdad and my mum have a tiny house, my stepdad and mum, I respect this for them as well, that they have their young children. They don't want to be pressured to have to look after an 18-year-old. So pretty much when I turned 18 and finished high school, it was, you have to move out and there is no coming back. So that was extremely daunting for me because, again, I'm a very sensitive person. I don't like change. Any little fraction of change in my life, I kind of spiral for a little bit. Or I need time to process things. This was like life-changing for me. And it felt so weird. There was only one way to describe how I felt. The idea of leaving home felt like death to me. But you know how like one day everyone's going to die and that's so daunting and scary. That's how I felt about leaving home. I was like, it's just going to happen and you're just going to have to accept it. And it's so scary. It felt like as scared as I am of death. That's how it felt.
Wow.
It was extremely daunting. Yeah, it was huge. Yeah. And trying to explain that to my parents, and they're like, they said to me, I don't know why you're so scared of the world. And I was like, well, you guys have made me scared of the world. Look at how you guys live. You never go out in the world. I had never, from the age of 3 to 18, been further than Otago, than Dunedin. I had never traveled further than Dunedin. So I knew every road, every tree. That's my safe place. So going outside of it, it was like I didn't even know that a world existed. It's an idea, but I hadn't seen it in real life. Wow. So it was extremely scary. I wanted to go to Dunedin. I wanted to study there, but they didn't have a fine arts school class in a university setting. My parents were set on me going to university because they thought that's the only way she's going to have a successful life where she won't depend on us in any shape or form. And so I applied for Massey and I applied for Elam. I didn't actually think I'd get into Elam because I didn't have a lot of faith in myself. I did get into Massey. And then when I got the acceptance into Elam, I was very shocked and very happy about it. And yeah, my parents, they were happy about it too. I was very nervous about moving to Auckland, extremely nervous.
And at that point with Elam, that was the 4-year degree, wasn't it?
Yeah, at that point it was.
And you had to put forward a portfolio.
Yeah, which I did. And I was very proud of that.
That's great. Yeah, that you were accepted. But that's just such a big thing, isn't it? When it's one thing for most kids to leave home. It's always such a big thing. But having that sort of sense of no return would have just added so much more stress.
Oh, yeah, it was very stressful. And knowing that I was doing it completely on my own, like no support whatsoever. And my parents aren't ones to pick up the phone. They won't pick up a phone call too often. And it's very rare that we even have text messages between each other. And I learned that very quickly, that once I was out, that is it.
Wow, that's actually huge.
Yeah, it was massive.
That's
and I had an incredible community down there. And I worked in the Four Square Dairy for 5 years. So during my whole high school years, I worked in the Four Square in my small town. And it was a great experience because I got to create my own like community. And they were just the loveliest ladies that I got to work with. They were all like mothers almost to me. And so they were extremely supportive. They were so happy for me. I think they cried when I had to leave. So that was really lovely, having that kind of support. They're just incredible people where I'm from. They're very generous, Yeah.
so great that you had that.
Yeah. But also
Yeah.
having to leave that was also very scary.
Yeah.
And Auckland doesn't have that. It's very hard to fit into a circle here or to find a community here. And even me being here now for 8 years, I still don't think I've found that. Or I have here and there, but things have always fallen away from, or I've fallen out with groups or whatever. But yeah, I haven't found that same kind of community. I think you can only get it in small towns in Southland.
It is hard. That's what we love about Muriwai Beach, because I think there's about 1,500 residents, 1,500 to 2,000, and it's 45 minutes into town. It's not far away, but it just has that beautiful community vibe, which is so amazing. And I was actually just thinking yesterday, walking up the road, I know all the people who live in all the houses, and I love that feeling. And I couldn't imagine not having it. And that's what you have in the country too, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's what I had. Yeah. So that's what I had my entire life. So leaving them was huge. And then when I go back down to visit, it's weird because I wish that time would just freeze from the moment that I left so that I don't miss anything. But when I go back and find out that they're still living their lives and everything, it kind of hurts. I'm so sensitive.
But you must also feel proud of what you've achieved, and you must be loving the life that you're living, making your work.
Yeah, I am very proud. Yeah.
You've done so well.
Thank you.
And tell us, let's go back to Elam. I mean, were you actually thinking, great, this is everything I've ever wanted. I want to be a full-time artist. I'm heading to Elam School of Fine Arts. I'm happy. Apart from the difficulty of actually moving from your community, were you thinking this is what I want to be doing?
I mean, I don't think I've ever had to question being an artist. I know that my path was going towards design at one point, but I was very young then. I've always kind of been an artist, so I've never had to question it. I've always been like, I will be an artist. It was like I was just born to be one. And having two parents who are artists, there's no questioning for me.
And that's something really positive that your parents have passed on to you.
I know there's been so many positives. I feel very privileged that I did get to grow up with two artists, especially the type of artists they are, because they are very unique and you don't find artists like that anymore. Like, I have never met an artist like my two parents. They're very different. And they do it not for money. They don't sell their art. They do it purely because they love it so much and they don't care about anything else. So that's been a great influence on me. So I've never had to question about art. I did question about art school, Elam, because my parents didn't go to Elam and they stood for the outsider art brute artist. They liked that. I think when I left home, my stepdad said to me, like, I would never be doing what you're doing, even though he pushed for me to go to art school and to go to university and stuff. He's like, that's just not for me. I would never go to an art school and learn. So I think a part of me was also thinking that way, like, should I be doing this the other way? Should I be doing this where I'm not an educated artist, because will that benefit my art career? Do I want to be this type of artist? I think there's many types of artists out there. What type of artist do I want to be? But I stuck with it. I went to Elam. The first year was very scary because, again, never been in a big city. So it was a lot for me to take in. New people, no one knowing who I was because I was so used to people knowing me. I think the first day I was in Auckland, my sister, she had moved up to Auckland, so I did have her. I think we went to go shopping for some bedding because I was going into the halls, and every person that walked past me, I would just say hi to, because that's just what you do down south. You go, hi. And my sister had to say to me, oh, stop saying hi to everyone. they don't do that in the big city. And I was like, oh.
You could always start a movement, making people say hello to each other, which would be nice.
Yeah, it would be. I still always smile or say hi. I'm still like that, but not as intensely as I was on the first day I was there. I think I was even saying, hi, how are you? As I was walking past like every person.
I love it. And how did you find the sort of structure of that first year at Elam of doing lots of different things when you already kind of were starting to form your own style of painting?
Yeah, I found it good. I found it very confusing. I think the entire time I was at Elam, I was just confused. I was like, what are we doing? There's a lot of opinions in Elam. So every student that you're with, they all think they're going to be the next great artist, I guess. And I really hope that they all will be and they live to their dreams. But they've all got so many opinions and it's always shared. And I really did enjoy learning and listening and hearing. But yeah, it was so unusual to me because I hadn't been around that many artists before. The only opinions I've ever listened to were my mum and stepdad when it came to art. And yeah, it was just interesting. I found it like a bit overwhelming. I was totally shy. I was very scared. I didn't use the facilities the way that I wish I had, just because I was too nervous or too shy to go into like the print shops or the print workshops or the wood workshops. I wish I went down there and did more of that.
And you were still young. I mean, straight out of school.
Yeah,
into
I know.
Elam.
I was very young. And I was in the halls, so I was very distracted by the hall life as well. And I was loving the hall life. I was loving all the friends I was making over there. I made some really great friendships in the halls. I'd never really gone out partying. There's no clubs where I come from, so clubs were new for me, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was just a whirlwind the first year. It was crazy. Never been in a taxi, went onto a taxi for the first time. Buses, that was new for me. Trains, even homeless people. I had never seen a homeless person. That shocked me. Also culture. Everyone in my town, there is no other person but a Pakeha or a Māori in my town. I'd never like been around people with accents or culture, just anybody, Asians, everything. That was so new to me. Yeah, shock to my system. It's so strange because it's the same country, but it's almost like a whole different world where I'm from.
Yeah, well, it's so sheltered, isn't it? And so sort of closed off. I mean, the small community, small town, small New Zealand town is like that. But then on top of that, you had your family dynamic, which was closed off.
Yeah,
on top
more
of
sheltered.
That. Yeah. Which is, I mean, I'm just amazed that you were so sort of good at making friends and building a new community when you had such a sheltered life socially.
Yeah, I don't know where I got that from, where I got it. My mum, she is pretty good at talking to strangers, even though she's very sheltered. I'm definitely an introvert, but I'm a people person. I'm a people pleaser. I think that's the one thing that with my parents having a stepdad and trying to gain his fatherly love made me such a good people pleaser. And so I think that's how I managed to create relationships pretty well, whether they're good relationships or not. I eventually find that out, but I'm 100% a people pleaser, a people person. I'm very good at it, but it does drain all my energy out of me. So I usually need quite some time to reset and sleep it off and be alone for a while. But
how did you start to develop your art practice at Elam, and what kind of art were you making?
Elam, I wasn't making what I do now. I was trying to, but the briefs are never like catered to what I do. The briefs were always way different. I definitely would, at any opportunity, do accumulations of whatever, of like circles or mainly circles or any other patterns. I did triangles there as well. I don't think it was until third year where I actually got to start doing that stuff. So when I was at Elam, I was just creating whatever would fit the brief, I think. I think at one stage I was rolling up paper and just dipping it in wine and letting the wine travel up the paper. And that was pretty cool. I was definitely experimenting. I think I found Elam very beneficial because, I mean, I'm on the path where I'm at now. So, I mean, there's not much more I can say. It must have been good if I'm where I'm at now.
Yeah.
But at the time, I think most of it, I was just like confused. I was like, how is this going to help me? I didn't know what to expect going into a university. I just didn't know what to expect. It's a lot of people, it's a lot of personalities. I think the personalities were very overwhelming for me, trying to learn all these different type of humans when I've been around just the same type of people for so long.
Oh, totally. But I'm sure that experience has informed your practice now, and all that experimenting, even though you weren't quite sure where you were heading with it.
Yeah.
You know.
No, completely. So, I didn't end up finishing uni. I just need to do a general education paper because it was still the 4 years to get your degree. But I dropped out after my third year, mainly because I just had a lot of personal stuff going on in the background. It had a family member who was very ill and in hospital, and because it was in Auckland, I was able to spend a lot of time with them. They recovered, which was great, but it was a good 6 months of them being in the hospital. And I don't know, I needed a break. That's all it was going to be, was a break. And then the 4 years turned into a 3-year degree. So all I need to do, and still to this day, it sounds so silly, all I need to do is a general education paper, and I could do that in a semester nice and easy. But I don't know why, I just have I've been too busy to go back. I should do it, but my life has just been busy and on a good path. It's not like it stops me from doing anything. So I'll do it if I need to.
And so you don't have the official degree.
No.
So no. I'm sure you'll go back at some point and do that.
Oh yeah, I'm positive I will as well. I say it every year as well. I'm going to do it this year, but then everything gets so busy that I just don't have time to. So no, I didn't finish. And my parents did not like that. They were not happy about it, of course, but it hasn't stopped me.
Once you actually worked with your family member in hospital, after that, what happened? I mean, were you then thinking, okay, I'm going to be this full-time artist now, I'm going to start making? What was your plan?
Oh, I had an incredible experience, just an out of this world experience. And I think it had a lot to do with who I am today. So in the halls, I made friends with this guy, and we would go over to his place in Remuera, his family's place, and I became incredibly good friends with his family. Still to this day, incredibly close with them. And we were at his 21st, so I think we're 21 when I'm still doing my third year. And we're at his 21st, and his father, he asked me if you were to go anywhere in the world to see any type of art, where would you go? And I said I'd probably go to New York to see MoMA, and then probably go to Barcelona just to see Salvador Dali. And he's like, all right then, well, sort yourself out a passport and we'll take you there. And I was like, whatever. Sure.
Oh my gosh.
The next day he emailed me and he said, we'll throw in London and you can go to the Tate so you can see that. And we're doing this, you don't owe us anything. This is for you. And I said, well, if anything, you can then see how it may benefit my artist career. So that's me kind of, I don't know.
Wow,
it was really cool experience. So they bought me flights over to New York because I'd never traveled overseas. And didn't know if I'd be good at it. My friend got to come with me, their son, so he got the trip as well. So we both went over to New York for about 5 days. Got to go to the MoMA, the Met, Guggenheim, just everywhere. And we're staying right outside what's it called? That big park. So we were right in the
Central
center.
Park?
Yeah, Central Park. So we were right in the center, so we could walk to everything. It was really brilliant. It was in February. So it was winter time and it was snowing. And I think it was my friend, he had never really experienced snow, whereas I had. So it was really nice. We went to London for about 4 days and we went to the Tate. The Tate Modern was just the most incredible experience.
Yeah.
That was the best art. I think I spent 8 hours in there just looking. It was the first time I got to see Salvador Dali, so I was very excited by that. And so many other artists, like even Tangai, I think that's how you say his name. So excited to see him. Oh, there were just so many people that I'd studied at Elam or had watched. Never once thought that I'd be going over there and seeing it in person.
What an incredible gift from this
incredible,
person.
Incredible. And then
it's like life-changing.
It was life-changing for me. And then, we went to Barcelona, and we had to travel out of Barcelona to go and see Salvador Dali. And I told my friend, his sister was studying in Oxford. So we went and visited her in London. She decided she wanted to come over to Spain with us as well. So I told them both that they had to go and do their own thing while I went into Salvador Dali alone, because I didn't want anyone else there talking to me while I looked at these.
Yes, I totally understand that.
Yeah. I think the draw to Salvador Dali is that if anyone knows of his place or has been to his museum, is that he has like so many things, just making sculptures with so much stuff. It's also like, it's almost like a hoarder, but you're making art. Right. And I can relate to that stuff because that's what I'm surrounded by in my childhood, because that's how my parents make. They just put things together.
Mm.
And so I saw a lot of my parents in Salvador Dali's art. So that was incredible. Absolutely loved that. What a great experience.
Yeah. And it's such an incredible thing for somebody to do for someone.
It was incredibly generous. Yeah. They're just the loveliest people.
Wow. So that was that, and that's what would have been your 4th year at Elam.
Yeah. So that was at the start of that year. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you came back and were totally motivated and refreshed, inspired, ready to start your own practice. Is that right?
I think I realized that when you see these things in person, they become real rather than just this idea. And it makes it seem so much more achievable for some reason. Like when it's really in front of you, you're like, it's achievable. Also, if a little Southland girl who moves up to Auckland, the first place I ever wanted to go was New York. Didn't even expect that to happen. And then my first place to go was New York. Like it made me realize that no matter what I dream, I can make it true. And so it helped me to just give in to being an artist, and that no matter what happens, it's going to turn out okay, because my life has turned out pretty cool so far.
That's so amazing. Your story is so inspirational, Sarah. I mean,
thank you.
The way you talk about your life, despite the challenges and the difficulties, and the way you've kind of turned it around through such a sort of positive light is really amazing.
Thank you.
Go you.
Thank you. So
can you tell us about your practice? Are we ready for this?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, so how about you describe your art practice to us for people who've never seen your work?
So my art practice, it started off with just paper and drawing, but it moved into canvas. I love canvases. I paint a base color, and then I go over top of that base color with a paintbrush and just draw circles. I just paint circles, and that's all I do. I just sit there and paint circles. They're very small. I don't plan anything. I don't need to actually draw this out or anything. I just like my work to be very organic and decide its own path. I like to get lost in the circles. It's a moment for me to just slow down and to let all my emotions kind of go through me in a very safe environment, and all my thoughts to kind of come. They're very loud, but they eventually get very quiet, and then there's a numbness of nothingness, which is really beautiful. So it's like meditation. It's a form of self-therapy, my art, 100%. And it's at the moment, it's just me painting circles on large surfaces. And that's all it really is.
Yeah, which is so incredible. And the circles, when I met you at the Orbit show, I thought initially that it was kind of just blobs of paint, that you've sort of eased onto the surface. But we talked and you said that it's the outline of the circle, isn't it?
I never like to do dots because it's not as therapeutic as a circle. But yes, I do it the opposite way than what 90% of the viewers think I do. Everyone thinks I'm doing dots. But no, when you're doing it as in circles, the paint may be less on one circle than the other. So therefore it starts creating these shades and these movements and these textures on the canvas. And when a viewer looks at it, they start picking up images that they can only see within the painting, or they'll pick up maps or birds or faces, all kinds of things you can see in my circles. And none of that is planned. It all happens organically. The paint does its own thing. My hand does its own thing. There is so little control in my art, and I love that.
Yes, and they are so absolutely beautiful to look at.
Thank you.
And so you have that under. So if I'm just looking at the painting, it's me with the accompanying head, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
So you've got that sort of purpley blue color underneath. And
it's actually a very it's ultramarine blue. It's just a basic bluest blue.
Blue. And then you've used some sort of red. What red is that?
It's just your basic red as well. But it's funny how the colors start turning it into, like, the blue looks very dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. And then you're doing the outline. So the little circle inside the outline that you've painted is blue.
Yeah, it's the base color.
And that's picking up the undercolor, obviously.
Yeah.
But then it's just fascinating, isn't it? How sometimes you don't get a sense of what's underneath, the color underneath, and sometimes you do. And these shapes, as you said, sort of come through from underneath. But it's kind of interesting to know how that happens. Well, it's just one of those things. And is it just, do you think, varying on how much paint you've applied, or how big you've made the circle, or how close the next circle is to the previous circle? What is it that brings those different shapes out, do you think?
I definitely think it's like the amount of paint that probably is applied, although I feel like because it's just repetitive motions, I feel like I do it pretty well where it's almost always the same. I'm actually scared I'm going to get too good at this. Like if I keep doing it and start applying just the exact same amount of paint every time and become kind of robotic in it, that it's not going to have as much imagery coming out. Because the first one I ever did had so much imagery coming out, so many like moments in it. And now as I keep going, there's less and less of that, because I'm just getting so good at this motion. Yeah.
That's really
like I'm
interesting.
so trained in it now.
And what kind of brush do you use? It must be a super fine, amazing brush.
I just use this acrylic and oil kind of brush. It's a very firm brush. I love brushes. Oh my goodness, I love materials. Art supplies and materials I go crazy about. I always want to know what the newest type of acrylic paint is. I love acrylic paint. I love Flash, if anyone knows what that is, which is a really beautiful acrylic paint that has this vinyl finish, so it's extremely flat. I like textures, so I like playing with mediums. I'm very obsessed with art supplies, art materials. Yeah.
So I like art supplies shop is like your idea of heaven.
Well, I even work at one. I work at Gordon Harrison Newmarket, so it is heaven. Yeah, it is heaven for me.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect
I'm definitely perfect for it, because I just love looking at paint so much.
That's so good. And do you normally have that one color underpaint and one color on top, or do sometimes you vary?
No, I always just have two colors, so one underpaint and one on top. Yeah.
Interesting. And it is fascinating, isn't it, how many shapes? I mean, I can see I can see a whale tail. Has anyone ever said that?
No, you're the first. Somebody said the other day when they saw it, they're like, how did she get the face in there? And I was like, where the heck is this face? I can't see it, but the person can see it.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is so lovely, isn't it? That the viewer is responding in their own way and it's
Yeah.
not necessarily what you intended. And it's lovely for you too, I imagine, because you don't know what you're intending.
Mm.
At the end, when you stand back from the painting, then you have your own response.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's fun because you just get to keep rediscovering this art piece. So like once it's done, you get to sit back and look at it, and you can look at it for days, weeks, and it's constantly changing. Like
Yeah,
there's always new things to see within these paintings, which I
totally.
really, really enjoy.
Oh yeah. And I mean, visually they're so beautiful to look at, but
Mm-hmm.
then they really kind of suck you in and the more you look, it's almost like an optical illusion thing that something starts
Yeah.
happening with your eyes. The more you look at it, the other things sort of start appearing, don't
It's
they?
almost like static energy. Someone
Yeah.
who was also looking at that one the other day said to me that it's like a magnetic pull when you're in the room with that piece. You just feel drawn to go up to it. And I was like,
Yeah.
that is really nice. Yeah.
Yes, what a compliment.
Yeah, that was a
And then
good
you leave
compliment.
you leave the side of the canvas in that underpaint color,
Yeah, I
which
think that's
looks
just to
cool.
help to explain to people, because when they see it, they're like, how is this not dots?
And I guess some people think it's blue dots on a red
Yeah,
color.
pretty much everyone thinks that
Yeah.
usually. Yeah.
So it's actually the other way around to what you'd
Yeah.
expect, which is also really interesting for the viewer, that sort of when they actually
Discovering.
discover what you do and how you do it. Yeah, is amazing. I mean, I found that when I saw your work first as well. I was just like, oh my God. And, just looking at your work and appreciating the time and the sort of
Mm.
precision is
Mm-hmm.
just also kind of really adds to the experience.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, there's a lot of dedication that I put into these artworks, a lot. And I don't think my hand is going to be forgiving me for for a very long time. I mean, it's not always sore, but after a big piece like It's Me, it was sore there for a wee bit. But yeah, it's a lot of dedication I put into my art, a lot of time. Uh,
Mm,
um, but it doesn't feel like a chore, because without doing this type of art, if I even go 2 days without doing it, I feel I can get kind of out of place in the world. It's just I need it. It is my self therapy. I mean, it is my therapy. Um, it's like eating food for me. So yeah, it's not a chore. I absolutely love doing it. If someone
mm.
said to me that I could just sit and do that for the rest of my life and not have to go outside of my room and work or do other things, I would live a very, very happy life. Yeah.
Really? Isn't that
Yeah.
incredible? As long as your cat was there, you'd be
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah. I'd be extremely happy just sitting there
Wow.
painting circles.
That
That would be
is
the dream. That is
unbelievable.
the dream. Yeah.
And does it take you a long time? Are you quite efficient with your circles?
um, I I mean, so It's Me, the one you're looking at, took 2 months and I worked on it every single day, but
Wow.
that's including the head. Um, so I'm getting quicker at making these. The collection that you saw, Orbit, I would never recommend this, but I created that collection in a month, although I was going through a breakup. So that was probably why I got done in a month, is because I was trying to process some stuff.
It's so good to
Yeah,
have that thing to do when you're dealing with difficult times like that, isn't it?
I know. Yeah,
Yeah,
and it
brilliant.
really is, because then you see this collection of work come out of it, and you're like, it almost makes up for any emotional damage.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Makes it worthwhile in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And with back to the It's Me work, you've got the very large canvas, and then in front you have a head which
Mm-hmm.
has the same color palette. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So this It's Me was actually my self portrait, which I'd been thinking of doing for quite some time. I was very interested in doing a self portrait. Um, And so I had been sitting thinking for ages, maybe years, how am I going to do a self portrait still keeping my style? Um, and I thought we could do types of circles, maybe different colored circles that would outline my face, or just ways that I could do it painting figuratively on the canvas. But I was like, that's not my style. That's not how I do it. Um, And then I thought about getting a mannequin and painting the mannequin fully. But then again, I don't look like a mannequin. And then finally I realized, oh my gosh, I should just cast my head or mold my head and have a complete copy of my head in front of this canvas. So I did a lot of research on how to do that. A lot of it is very expensive and money isn't something I have a lot of. So I settled just for plaster strips and Vaseline. So I put Vaseline on my face, and just in my room by myself on a Sunday afternoon, I completely covered my face in plaster strips. And that went fine. I don't have what is it? That phobia, claustrophobia. Is that what it's called? Yeah. I don't have that, which is great.
Wow. Yeah.
Because I think if you had that, that would not be a fun thing to do to your face by yourself.
Because you have to cover your eyes with the strips. You cover everything with your mouth shut.
Mouth, you cover your mouth. The only place where I could breathe is like the two little holes that you leave on your nostrils.
Wow. That's amazing that you could do that. Normally you'd get somebody else to do it for you. You wanted to do it, put the strips on yourself.
I don't think I could trust someone else doing that to me. I would probably freak out then. Although I'm sure somebody who does it, like if I got one of my friends to do it, they would have done it fine. It's just I would have preferred to do it myself.
But it would be quite hard, I imagine, to do it.
It was very difficult.
With all those strips, just to kind of doing it by feel, which is a very deeply personal process.
It really was. And it turned out really good. I didn't think I'd pull it off, to be honest. I thought I'd have to like paper mache a head or something. Because again, I'm limited by my finances, so I had to do it the cheapest way possible. And then, so the mold turned out well, and then just filled it up with plaster and made this plaster head and did a lot of sanding. There was a lot of waiting time for it to dry as well, but plaster dries pretty quickly, which is good. And then I just painted it, and it turned out really well.
It's
Still
so
surprised.
Incredible, yeah. And how did you actually do the back?
I just molded that with my hands, so that's not 100% accurate, but I just did that with plaster. I thought it looked fine. I pulled it off. Perfect. I wasn't going to attempt to make ears for it or anything, so I was like, that would be too much.
I actually think it without the ears is quite cool. There's something about it that looks, I don't know, even better.
It was a process. So I think it took me like 3 weeks to actually make the sculpture. The head. It took quite some time.
And then how did you go about painting it? So it's the same colors, like I said, as the canvas that goes behind it. So the work at the head is part of the canvas. It's all one work.
Yeah, it's all one work.
How did you go about painting that?
I just my head wasn't too heavy, but I just held it and like cradled it kind of, just painted away at it. And it was really fun doing that because I always have been quite self-conscious about my features, as the normal human is. But it was really cool painting on my face, seeing my real features in different angles in ways that you'd never see your face other than in a mirror, and being able to hold it and really kind of appreciate my cool features. Like I have good cheekbones. Very proud of those.
You do. You really do.
Yeah.
How amazing. And I love when you look at it in front of the canvas behind it. It almost kind of blends in, but has that sort of 3D
was the whole idea,
feel.
To kind of morph into its background and come out a little bit. It was a very intimate experience, and I really enjoyed it. I probably make more of those.
I think you should. They're so incredible. Your other paintings, as you said, it's always only 2 colors. Is that right? Always. And then do you have any preference with color, or is color kind of also telling us something, or are you trying to communicate or express something through the color choices, or is it more random?
I've been thinking about that a bit lately. I do think that I spend a lot of time thinking about color. I love pop art. Pop art is one of my favorite type of art. And I like colors that are very bold and vivid and poppy. I don't like bright colors though, like neon colors or sparkly colors. I just like your really basic primary pop art kind of colors. And blue and red are probably my favorite combination. Blue is my favorite color. But I don't know how deep that goes. It's just me liking something.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
still is part of your style, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you do use quite a lot of white and
Oh yeah. The actual colors I'm using are just like always ultramarine blue and then just a white. And then if it turns pastel, it's because it's turned pastel itself. But that isn't from my decision of it.
Right.
It just naturally has done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you actually discover this technique?
I think I've been doing it since I can remember, really. I've always just been quite into drawing obsessively. Yeah, I don't know how I discovered it. It just seemed natural.
It's always been circles.
No, it hadn't always been circles. It's always been patterns. I've like at high school, I liked to cover my pages with patterns. It wasn't always circles, and I liked the intensity of it all. I think it was one day when I think it was my second year in Auckland, and I must have been stressed or something, and I was just drawing circles on a piece of paper. And I realized that it just made me feel so calm. And I was like, that's it. I'm going to get a massive piece of paper and just draw as many circles as possible on it. And that's how it started. And I think someone saw it once and they're like, oh, you should make that your thing. Like, you should just draw circles. And I laughed it off. I was like, nah, I want to do something else. And then it's so weird because that's what I've done. I've become very obsessed with it.
And do you think it's come from a kind of like a doodling nature, a doodling background, like that, just sort of doodling to kind of make you feel good, and then it sort of morphed into more circles, and then it became this kind of work?
Yeah, I definitely think it's like I can't remember what the word is for it, but yeah, it is doodling, drawing, and that's how it all started. That's how it started, just on paper with a pen. I've gone through hundreds of pens just doodling, doing circles.
Amazing. And have you ever considered using pen on a painted background rather than a paintbrush?
Oh yeah, I definitely have. I think if people are into art out there, they'll know about Molotow pens, the acrylic ink pen that you can get. I have used those in certain paintings. I didn't use it for It's Me. That one was definitely done with a paintbrush. But yeah, I definitely do. And I like the way that those pieces turn out as well, because they have more shade and more texture in them, because you can really let the acrylic ink run its life until you pump the pen and have more ink going. So you're getting all these other different kinds of shades going on. So I do enjoy using the Molotow pens quite a lot.
I love that. That's very cool. And can we start talking now about your collaboration with Yonjay Choi? And now that work, she's a sculptor, and then you've been painting her sculptures, basically.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us about how that started and how you work together as a sort of collaboration and what your process is?
Yeah. I think going to Elam, one of the things coming out of it, I realized, is I never want to do a collaboration. For some reason, I was just like, there's too many people that are so different from me. I'm never going to find someone who I'll do a collaboration with where I can still be alone, peaceful during my drawings. But I was working at Auckland Art Gallery when I met Yonjay. And it was during a lockdown. I think we were having like a video call for the gallery assistants, and someone asked, what has everyone been up to? And that's when I first saw Yonjay's ceramic pieces, when she showed it on there, and I fell in love with her art. She's an incredible artist, just out of this world. She's a ceramic artist, and she's extremely skillful at what she does. So I instantly had to get my hands on a piece. And then we were working together, and one of our mates, her name's Paula. She has a really cool studio in Devonport. Me and Yonjay at this point still hadn't had shows before, like an exhibition before. And I think we're just talking about how cool it'd be to have an exhibition. And Paula said, well, have one in my space. And we looked at each other and we're like, oh, yeah, sure, why not? And there was no more discussion than that. Like, there was nothing. She just showed up to my house with some sculptures, and that was that. Like, there was no effort. It just naturally happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I liked that she could just drop off pieces and leave me alone to do it. I didn't want too much talking going on. She understood my type of art. I understand hers. Hers is very also labor intensive. It's definitely focused on the circle, creating a safe place for an artist to exist. She's very focused on that. And yeah, the circle. She's obsessed with the circle too, and creating a perfect circle almost. And she uses a South Korean traditional way of making these. They're called moon jars. So yeah, she dropped off these moon jars to me, and gave me ceramic glazes to use. And ceramic glazes are a very, very hard material to use. Because it's kind of almost like a chalk. So if you wipe your hand over it, there's chances that you're going to wipe the drawing off. So yeah, I started learning with this new material, ceramic glaze. Everything has to be applied with the paintbrush. There's no cheating. You really have to spend your time with it. Every single circle that I've done on those pieces has to be applied more than once, because when you put it into the kiln, they kind of fade or they sink into the clay a bit. So I want my artworks to be very bold and vivid. So that takes a lot of time. I think I've become incredibly masterful with the glaze and drawing circles on them. And they're very well done. Like, I'm surprised on how good they turn out every time.
And did you actually have to do lots of experimenting to figure out, how much to apply and that kind of thing? Or did you just go straight into a sculpture?
I did do a few little little plates. I don't actually know what they're called. Testers, let's say, just little testers. I did do a few of those, but and quickly learnt that, they don't turn out the way that you think they're going to turn out, because it can look really bold with the glaze before it goes in the kiln, just because it's so chalky. And so just off those, I learned I need to be applying a lot onto these. And with every piece that I did, I was just getting better and better, just learn a bit more. And that all happened naturally. It wasn't an effort to learn more. It's like I just had to stare at it for a second and already know what I need to do.
Amazing. Yeah. And it must have been hard coming back and doing another coat. That must have been really laborious.
Because it dries so quickly. It's like every time you do a circle, you just instantly do another one, because it dries like that. It's so quick, which is also a struggle because it's drying so quickly and you're working with the paintbrush, and it's a long, slow process. Everything dries so quickly when you need it to be wet for longer.
How interesting. And then were you super excited about the incredible effect that the dots had on the 3D object?
Yeah, I was very excited because I had wanted to move into sculpture, mainly because I'm highly influenced by Yayoi Kusama, and she does a lot of sculptures, and I just love her work so much, and I was like, I really want to go into sculpture, and just play with that. So I really enjoyed working with the 3D objects. Yeah. Canvases are my one true love. Like, they're my first love. They'll always be my love. But yeah, it was fun to do sculptures. Yeah,
and I'd love to see more of that sort of combination of sculpture and canvas. Like, it's
I'm definitely working on
great.
some more pieces, like It's Me, where I'm creating my own things to go in front of a canvas. Yeah, I don't think I'll always be collaborating with Yonjay. It's definitely I've still got pieces that I need to do that she's made me, like a little coffee table kind of arty thing, which is really cool.
My God,
I
cool.
really am enjoying going into furniture, because I loved graphic design as a kid, and industrial design especially. So being able to go into a bit of art furniture has been incredibly fun for me. I've always had this dream of creating a setting, like a room in a gallery space and completely covering it with my circles so that every single item in that space, whether it's a dining setting with food, all made out of sculpture, would be completely covered in circles. So this is just helping me get to that,
yeah, which is very it's very Kusama, but it is you can see the inspiration, but it's still, you've got such a unique practice and a unique style that
completely,
it's completely different. But how amazing would that be? Oh my god.
I just love the idea of this intense circle environment, accumulation and of labor, because my parents enforced so much heavy labor on us so that we were trained not to be lazy. It means that I love showing off my labor. When someone can look at something and go, oh my god, that took them so much time, it makes me feel good. It's like,
you feel validated.
I feel so validated.
Isn't
when people recognize my labor.
And once again, it's taking something that could have been a challenge for you as a child, has sort of come through in a positive way through your artwork.
It definitely
which is amazing, isn't it? So then you also have a real interest in supporting other emerging artists. And you obviously like putting shows together and curating and that kind of thing as well. So can we hear about that?
Yeah, you sure can. So the people who gave me that incredible experience to go overseas, they also are the ones who now are the proud owners of It's Me. So with my head in their house.
Oh my God. I was actually wondering if they had bought it.
No,
How
they did.
Incredible. Oh, that makes me get goosebumps.
So I think it's hilarious that they get my head in their house all the time, especially with their personality. Like the husband, I just can't wait to talk to him about that, because he's been overseas working. So I can't wait to see him and have a good chuckle that he gets to keep my head.
How incredible. That is just so perfect.
So they're just incredible people. They they live on Waiheke, and just before lockdown, they built this education centre on their property. And I call them the Shepsons. Andrea Shepson, she is a dentist, and she's a very, very good dentist, and she likes to teach dentistry. So she created this education centre so that people from all over the world can come over and take her courses, which is so cool. And the centre is just incredible. And so they got in contact with me when they first built it, and I think this was in probably 2020. And I went over and I saw it, and I was like, this building is amazing. And they asked me if I would like to do an art piece in the space, like put an art piece up in the space. And I looked at it and I said, you guys have so much wool here, like so much beautiful wool. I don't think I could cover that with an art piece, but I could put on a show here. And they're like, yeah, we'd be so into that. So I put together my first show called See the Unseen, which was just a little taster of some emerging artists that I am friends with and that I personally know. And we did an opening for that last year, and that went well. And then just recently we've done another show, and I collaborated with Artful, Jessica, and we did the self-portrait kind of show, but it was a different take on a self-portrait. It was more like an autobiographical take on how the artist represents themselves through their art. I did this collaboration with Artful, and Jessica did a show, Dancing with Myself, and that opened in October. And we had 22 artists, and artists such as Elliot Collins was in it, that has been on this podcast, Logan Moffat, even Paul Nathan. I think you're doing an episode with him as well.
Yes,
he's also in the show. So there was 22 artists, a lot of incredible artists, all who created self-portraits, and I hung it in quite a salon style hang, where I just tried to pack the wall as much as I could. The building itself is it's in a beautiful location with bush all surrounding. but it's not a place where you can just walk on the street and walk in. So it's quite a private location. So to view, it's either by appointment or to come along during public holidays when I usually have it open. I'm going to try and have the space open during the summer a bit more, but I usually post about that through Instagram is my best platform for posting, or I'll do it also through signage and posters on the Waiheke Island. Or people can just contact me and let me know that they're keen to come see it, and I will definitely be there and have it open for them.
How amazing. I'd love to come out.
Yeah, you definitely should. It's such an incredible space. There's the views itself are breathtaking, and then the art on top of it's great. It is a path that I didn't expect myself to be on, because I primarily just want to be an artist. As I've said, to me, being an artist by myself, just doing that for the rest of my life, I'm at peace. So doing something like this is cool. It brings a lot of anxiety, and it's definitely pushing me. I push myself quite a lot, but it's doing something that makes me quite uncomfortable, but in a good way, because I'm learning. And I am good at talking about art with people. I'm very good at that and good at showing art. Hopefully I'm good at selling it.
Good on you for heading into your, out of your comfort zone like that.
Yeah.
And then supporting artists at the same time.
Yeah. It's been quite a cool experience. It's been just an opportunity that I can share with others. That these Sheppersons have given me so many opportunities. So to be able to also share that with other people is it's like it's a never-ending gift. It's really great.
Yeah,
they're really
it really
awesome
is.
people.
It's such an incredible gift. And you obviously show your own work at the same time in these group shows. And do you have any aspirations to be with a dealer gallery or with a gallery of some sort?
I don't know. If it happens, I'll think about it if someone asks me, and I'll think about it then. It's not a priority of mine. I think because I've grown up and always been quite poor, that although money is great and helps you keep creating because you can buy the materials, it's not like a priority of mine. I know even if I'm the poorest or the richest, I'm still going to be doing what I'm doing. Like I'm still going to be drawing circles. So it's not like I'm seeking to be represented. And I'm quite happy with Artful and what they do and being on there. So you can see my art on Artful's page.
Yes, and I'll put a link. I'll put a link to that on your blog post.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with that because it's not too much pressure. It's just nice and easy. I mean, I don't know. I've never been represented by a dealer gallery, so I don't know what that'd be like. So I don't really have a lot of thoughts or opinions on it. If it happens, I'll think about it then. But yeah, it's not something I'm seeking. I'm very relaxed with just painting.
Yeah, fair enough. Too. Yeah. And do you actually just going back to your process? Do you actually create more than one work at a time, or do you start with one and finish?
No, I've definitely got 3 large canvases that I'm working on right now. And they're all at different stages. I love working on different artworks at a time because I like working with different colors at a time. Yeah. And it depends on my mood. If I feel like, working with the blue today or with the green today or so on. Yeah.
So good. And it's just such a beautifully personal practice, isn't it? And it's you're giving so much of yourself through that labor of love. Yeah. And it really shows.
Thank you.
So should we get to the last questions? Can you believe it's that time already?
Yeah.
I think I know who your favorite artist is, who's inspired your work, but can you tell us, who your favorite artists and New Zealand artists are?
Yeah, definitely Yayoi Kusama is my favorite artist. I'm obsessed with her. I've read everything she's written. I follow her like crazy. Obsessed with her. I don't think I discovered her until after I traveled overseas. If I had discovered her a bit sooner, I might have gone, can we go there as well?
Yeah, add that to the list.
Yeah. I really appreciate Yayoi Kusama. I think she's incredible. And Salvador Dali. but he doesn't influence my art intensely. I think I just enjoy the way that his art makes me feel. I really like that. It keeps reminding me why I'm an artist, to make people feel that way. And then favorite New Zealand artists, that changes weekly. At the moment, I'm really enjoying John Reynolds, and that's mainly because he's a customer at Gordon Harris, and I think he's the loveliest guy in the world. Like,
Really?
he's just the loveliest artist. He's so down to earth. He treats everyone as an equal. I just really appreciate it. It just, yeah.
Mm.
And you can almost see similarities in the way that he works and the way I work, because he's using paint, but technically he's drawing. Same as me. I use paint and painting, but in my mind I'm drawing, and there's a lot of motions happening, especially if you think of that massive piece that was, I can't remember what it was called, but it was an Auckland art gallery. It was that big blue sheet of canvas where he did silver. It wasn't text, it was tracking like a map. The idea was it was tracking Colin McCann when he got lost in a park. And that piece was incredible, and you can almost see the intensity of repetition the way that I do it, just in a different way.
I'd love to talk to John Reynolds. Maybe you need to have a chat to him next time you see him.
I'll tell him that you'd be keen. He's just the sweetest guy. And it's always nice to meet an artist who is just respectful and lovely to you, because Auckland can be quite a scary, harsh place, and people's opinions aren't always the nicest, and I take that very personally. So it just always reminds me, like, oh, there are really, really nice people out there.
Yeah, that's so nice.
Yeah. So I he's a really cool guy. And I like Peter Robertson. I like his works too. I love his works. He's also a nice artist. Him and John Reynolds are very similar personalities in my mind. They're very cool people.
Same era too, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what challenges do you face as a young artist?
I think personally my biggest challenge is whether I want to stay located in Auckland or not. That seems to be my biggest struggle this year. I think this year has been like an incredibly busy, incredible year for my art. And I've been really busy and putting so much effort into it. But I don't know if Auckland is the place where I'm happiest. And I'm wondering, how long do I have to endure living in Auckland until I can finally be in a place where I am happy and in a location, because my surroundings have a lot to do with the way that I feel. And I love Auckland, I really do, but it's a very busy place. People are incredible with business here. They're very strong people, but I'm used to a very slow pace. I'm used to people really listening to others, a different type of community. So that's probably my biggest challenge at this very stage in my life, is where is it that I want to live? I mean, I could probably move anywhere in New Zealand and still be able to show art in Auckland and still be part of the Auckland art scene completely.
Yeah, totally.
Especially with Artful being an online platform, it means that you're not limited to living in Auckland, which I think is great.
And would you ever consider moving back to where you grew up?
I think about it all the time. And I don't know the answer yet. And then I also consider, do I want to follow the tracks of Yayuko Sama, and just at 27, which would be me next year when she was 27, just like sell everything and move over to New York and just try that out. But I don't know if, I think I need a bit of time to summon up the bravery to do something like that. You know, that's a big leap. But there's nothing stopping me.
No.
Yeah, I'm in that transition right now in my life where I'm just like, where do I want to be?
Yeah. And then I guess you'll work it out.
Yeah, I'll work it out. And I guess the other challenge for a young artist is money. I think every artist has that challenge, just money, affording the art supplies that you need to create art. And also when you sell art, it's an appreciation. appreciation is it goes a long way. Like it feeds you.
Totally.
So that can also be a challenge, is finding appreciation, but I don't think I'm lacking in that too much right now. So that's good.
No. And that's the hard thing too, isn't it? That your work could still be being appreciated, but you don't always hear it.
Yeah.
And that's
exactly.
hard. That can be tough. And so you've got to just kind of keep driving from within and it is nice to get that feedback sometimes. What would you say to your younger artistic self?
Oh, I don't know, because I read into things too much. I feel like no matter what I say, I'll be like, what does she mean by that? And then it'll haunt me. So, and I feel like I did pretty well. So to get to where I'm at now,
yes,
I feel like
absolutely.
I did pretty good without me saying anything to my younger self. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. If I was to say anything, I'd say I'm proud of you. That's probably all I will be able to say. Or just even just every time that you're feeling a bit down, just take a second to look around you and notice all the things that you've achieved. Because coming from where I'm from, I never once in my mind, never once thought that I'd achieve the things that I've achieved so far at 26. I'm pretty proud of that. But I also need to recognize it every once in a while, because I can quickly forget and get quite down and hard on myself. So taking a moment just to breathe, look around myself and see all the stuff I've achieved.
Yeah, good on me, you can say.
Yeah.
And I think you are absolutely justified in saying that, because I think you are a complete legend listening to your story.
Thank you.
Honestly, I just feel quite I feel quite emotional about it, really, listening to your story.
That's really lovely to hear.
No, I mean,
it was a different upbringing, wasn't it? It's a different.
It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm so privileged. Like, I can't express it enough. I wouldn't change a single thing in my life. Even if I'm maybe sometimes angry at my childhood, I'm still extremely grateful for it, because I wouldn't be where I am without that. And
that's right.
I don't blame anyone for any pain or anything, because it makes this beautiful freaking art. They make really beautiful art through it. So I feel very privileged, privileged.
And for you to be able to think like that and see everything through such a positive lens is, you've got that. You've obviously got a lot of strength in you and an amazing mind that you have been able to kind of turn it around that way, even though you might have your moments still. And then your art helps you with that sort of processing. It's so beautiful. And I'm sure everyone listening will feel like I feel, like I
hope so.
They will feel privileged to hear this story, because it is an incredible story. And, we have talked more about your childhood than maybe with some guests, but it's so informed the person you are today and the work that you make. And it's a really important part of your story.
Yeah. No, my personal life definitely drives my art 100%. It's just a way of coping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, Sarah, I would like to say thank you very, 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 very much for being on the podcast. And I know how much you enjoy podcasts, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy listening to your episode.
I hope so.
Very therapeutic.
Yeah.
And
thank you so much for having me. This has been a really great opportunity. I was very excited to do a podcast, also super nervous to do it. I hope listening back, I'm proud of what I've said, because that was a bit of a blur. It was a lot of talking.
Yeah. It's hard to know what you actually said when you think back. Yeah, but
I'm not going to know what I truly said until I hear it.
Yeah, exactly. But no, you've done really well. It's been a pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.